In the same way you double-click to enter a folder and then move through more folders within those folders to view your files, the computer works in very much the same way behind the scenes. However, the first thing to learn is that from now on, we're never going to use the word folder. Instead, we call them directories. Your entire computer is contained in one big directory, called the root directory, and all other directories are within that one. This structure is called a directory tree. As you can imagine, you have the root and the trunk, followed by major branches, smaller branches, twigs, and even leaves on the end. Every file on your computer has a specific address, or path, leading to it from the root directory. You could think of it like directions from the entrance of a supermarket door to a particular aisle, then to a shelf, and finally to a product on that shelf. This is called the absolute path, and we'll deal with relative paths in a moment. When you open your shell, you're thrown somewhere onto that directory tree. So where are we? Well, if you type pwd and then enter, it will print the absolute path to your current directory. pwd stands for print working directory, and that working directory is quite simply the directory that you're currently sat in. As you can see, I'm in a home directory called Callum. That's me. And to reach here from root, you'd enter the home directory and then the Callum directory. So that's great. What else can we find out? How about what's actually in this directory? If you type ls, the computer lists everything that is in the current directory. You can see here I've got directories for music, pictures, and my desktop, as well as a couple of test files that I've put in here too. My shell is quite helpful in that it shows directories as bold and with a different colour to files. Your shell might not do that, but that can usually be changed. So let's move around a bit. If we want to change directory, we simply type in cd followed by the directory name. So cd desktop, for example. Beware that it's case sensitive. If you don't want to type out the full name, you can just type out the first few letters and then press tab for the computer to fill in the rest. If the computer can't choose because there are multiple available options, then just double tap the tab key and those options will be displayed. For example, if I type in TE and then tab, you'll see it displays both test directory and templates because it doesn't know which one I want. For now, let's change directory to move into my desktop, so cd desktop. If I type ls to list what's in here, you'll see a directory called favorites, and if you look on my visual interface, this icon is actually on my desktop screen too, so they truly are just the same. If we want to return backwards to the parent directory, we just type cd ... We can move multiple levels at once. For example, cd desktop / favorites will take us to the favorites directory in one single step. And using this / separator, we can do the same to go backwards. Here's two tricks. The / on its own means root. If we cd to the root, we can see some of the system directories. The second trick is that the tilde symbol means home, and is an instant way of returning to your home directory. Returning to that idea of absolute paths, we can reach the favorites directory by typing out the full path from root, which will bring us to favorites from no matter where we are on the computer. Or we can use a relative path, which is a means of getting there from this working directory. Relative paths are really quick and easy, but they won't always work if you're running the same command from different places in the directory tree. Absolute paths are more stable in that sense. For example, you could have a directory called Elvis in your music directory, but also a directory called Elvis in your pictures directory. Whichever Elvis directory you moved into would be dependent on whether you were currently in the music or pictures directory. To avoid confusion, you could use absolute paths instead.